Hi, how is everybody doing today? I hope everybody's doing well, of course. I have some cases today that are going to blow your mind that are very important and I think will open people's eyes to how far people will really go in the positions they're in, that a lot of people want to deny that would happen or that these people would do these things. So please stay with me and follow through my cases on following the corruption. First of all, we have November 24th, Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office employee and local woman charged in bribery scheme. Sonia, I think it's Dejan Evans, 58, and Shawanda Dove, 51, were charged in a bill of information with one count of violation 18 U.S.C. SS 1952 A3 and 2 use of an interstate facility with the intent to carry an unlawful activities. According to the bill of information at the time of the offense, Evans was employed by the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office as a Criminal Record Division Supervisor. This is a supervisor. Both Evans and Dove used cell phones to carry out a bribery scheme. Evans solicited and accepted bribe money from Dove in exchange for fraudulent bonds issued to release of incarcerated persons. If convicted, both women face a max penalty of 5 years incarceration and up to, of course, $250,000 in fines, and of course, 3 years of supervised term of supervised release, and mandatory special assessment of $100. Who would agree with me from the other videos? They will probably get 1 year and 1 month. 1 year and 1 day. 1 year and 1 day. That's usually the typical number we're seeing for employees of the government, no matter how bad the crime is. Now, some of them today have got a little bit more. Maybe they ticked somebody off somewhere. Okay. Former Cincinnati, again, November 24th was when this was put in, and it's in Cincinnati, Ohio. Former Cincinnati City Council President sentenced to prison for honest service wiring fraud through bribery. Now, again, let me take these off here. Denard chose to enrich herself at the expense of the public, as most of them do. Denard pled guilty to one count of honest wire fraud. Her sentence includes a $15,000 money judgment against her and 3 years of supervised release following imprisonment. This is what I don't get. Denard was ordered to report to prison in March 2021. This is 4 months later that she'll be asked to turn herself in. And there's another case just like that. Now, usually when you're guilty, they take you right then and there with all of us. So this doesn't make much sense to me that certain people get to turn themselves in at a certain date. November 30th. This is in California, and there is a lot of corruption going on in California. Former prosecutor and police chief sentenced for framing their relative with a crime to conceal their own fraud. This is so sad. This is the case I was telling you about. Not only that, see people. Sorry, let me see what I wrote in here. frame their own relative with a, okay, I'm concealed with their own fraud. This is so sad. Not only see people, they do this. I don't know. I must have been writing so fast that I didn't write it properly, but it's not making any sense to me. But I think what I was trying to say was it's sad that you're seeing these people do this to their family. So why wouldn't they do it to other people? Remember that they do this, and if they would do it to their family, then the Avery case that nobody wanted to see was real, that he was set up by police officers, and that county and whoever worked in that county, all the way up to the judges and above him, are capable of this. And that's what I was trying to put in here, but I guess I wrote it the wrong way because I was like, so I get on a roll and sometimes I skip words, and I think that happened. But like I said, this is so sad. Only to see people. Oh, okay, not only to see people, and I guess now I'm getting what I was saying. Not only to see people do this in general, but to do it to their own family. And I skipped a lot of that in between writing the rest of it. And then I said, remember this when you think about the Avery case. Innocent people are set up by these people like this. This needs to be stopped. There is a lot of corruption going on in California. And I'm going to read from my phone now on this case. But again, sorry for the blank, but basically, again, what I was trying to say is if these people would do this to their own family, then why would they not do it to somebody who's not their family? And a lot of people in the Avery case were thinking, oh, these people would never set him up. What are you talking about? He's guilty. They set him up the first time, and he was proven to be innocent. And then they set him up again, and they got to use the first charges against him, but he couldn't use it to defend himself. And most of the people already basically were going by the first guilty charge that they didn't know he was falsely accused of, or they thought by what they did, they turned him into a murderer. As, you know, the film headline or name of it kind of suggested, even though that's not what it was about. So I don't understand. It shouldn't have. I know why they named it that, because basically they were making him to be a murderer or out to be a murderer, but it sounded like they were actually making him a murderer, which kind of would confuse people too into thinking that he could be guilty. Him and this 16-year-old nephew, it's just disgusting and repulsive to know that our government has that much power to imprison people that are absolutely innocent and allow corruption like that to continue. This is what has to be stopped today. And I really want to get into the Avery case eventually. And I've talked about it before in my videos. And I also want to get a little bit more into some other cases where there is a lot of corruption. The Delphi murders, the Watts murders, it's all corruption and cover-up. And this has got to be stopped. There's real murderers out there running around on the loose, and they need to be caught and brought to justice. And there are innocent people in jail that shouldn't be. Okay, so let me finish this case because I could go on and on about those three cases. Okay, where did I leave off on this? And I'm going to have to take like little minutes to find out because there's some stuff I'm not going to read in here and there's stuff that I will. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to start off with this first part here. Former prosecutor Kathleen Kealoha and former police chief Lois Kealoha, so I guess they're related, were sentenced during separate hearings in federal court today. to 13 years and 13 years and 7 years. Okay, for each one of them got 13, one of them got 7. Catherine got 13, and Lois got 7 years in prison, respectively, following a number of convictions, including conspiring to frame a relative with a crime to conceal her own fraud. Okay. He ordered, and see, this just has the last name, not the first name, but I'm pretty sure it's the Catherine. Keholis, I think is how you say it, Keholis, to pay $454,984.78 and $237,000. I keep saying that wrong. I'm so sorry. $237,698,000. Oh my God. My eyes are so blurry and my freaking tongue is getting tight. I guess because of that. $237,698.56, respectively, in restitution to their victims, and ordered futures of property representing proceedings of fraud, including the Kilos' former home in Honolulu, a Rolex watch, and $228,746.79. Catherine Kealoha is already in custody. Lois Kealoha was ordered to report to prison on April 12th. Again, this is back in November, and you're saying that they need to report in the middle of this year, this coming year. That doesn't make sense, especially when one is in prison. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to read this. Judge C. Bright rebuked the Kilos for their grotesque deprivation of civil rights, which staggered the community in many ways. And then the sentence imposed today marked the end of a series of criminal cases against the Kiloses, in other plural, both of them. And I'm not going to even try to say it again. After 6 weeks of trial and 1 day of deliberation, a federal jury in Honolulu convicted the Honolulu Power couple and Honolulu police officer Derek Hannon. And these are some weird names. Ming Hung, Bobby Najin of conspiracy and attempting obstruction for justice pertaining to the false arrests and prosecution of Catherine's uncle, Gerard Punana. The evidence at the trial established that the Kiloses used their considerable power, including commandeering the Honolulu Police Department elite criminal intelligence unit to frame Gerard with stealing their mailbox to accomplish this, and conspiring prepped the mailbox to be stolen, selectively editing grainy surveillance video to conceal their preparatory acts, falsifying identification. Gerard as a culprit captured by the video, falsified police reports, withheld and destroyed evidence, and repeatedly lied about their activities to investigators. The federal grand jury and the district court for the District of Hawaii. The Kiloses moved for framing Gerard was to discredit and intimidate him after he accused Catherine Kilos of fraud. Trial evidence established that Catherine stole over $200,000 from him and Catherine's elderly grandmother, Florence Punana. Acting as her grandmother's attorney, Karen convinced Florence, who was 89 years old at the time, to place a reverse mortgage on Florence's family home. Catherine promised Florence that she would pay off the reverse mortgage after using some of the proceeds to consolidate the Collini's debt. Instead, unknowingness to Florence, Catherine funneled the reverse mortgage proceedings into a bank account that Catherine controlled, and within 7 months, the Kiloses drained the account dry, spending over $140,000 on various personal expenses, including mortgage payments, Elton John concert tickets, Mercedes and Maserati car payments, a trip to Disneyland, and a $23,976 brunch table at the Sheraton Waiheke to celebrate Lois Kalohini's induction as Honolulu police chief. In the meantime, Catherine made no payments on the reverse mortgage, allowed the balance to balloon out of control, and diverted mortgage statements away from Florence's mailbox to keep Florence from finding out. Once Florence did find out, almost a year and a half later, she was forced to sell her family home. All of this to family members. These aren't strangers. These are her freaking family members. Or their family members. After they learned of the missing money and balloon mortgage, Florence and Gerard confronted Kathleen Keyhole. I'm not even going to keep trying to say that. About her actions. Catherine responded indignantly, threatened in a letter to seek the highest form of legal retribution against anyone and everyone who has written or verbally uttered those lies about me. True to her word, after Florence and Gerard filed a civil lawsuit against her, Catherine attempted to have Florence declared illegally incompetent, and Catherine and her co-conspirators had Gerard arrested for a crime he did not commit. At Gerard's theft trial, Lois Kahila, try to say it again, testified falsely that Gerard was the person taking the mailbox in the grainy surveillance video. That's what makes the case so shocking. This could not have succeeded but for you and your position, Judge Seabright told Lois Kalaho. I think maybe that's the right pronunciation. Kalaho. Was I saying it right, or Kahilo? I don't know. I'm just not even going to try to say the last name anymore. Today, after years of manipulation, the levers of justice to shroud their own crimes, justice was delivered to corrupt political officials. Okay, and okay, so they were convicted, as you know, or not convicted. Well, one's in jail, one's waiting to turn herself in. I'm trying to see if now I got any actual punishment. Okay, today's sentences also accounted for separate crimes committed by the family, I'll just say. I'm not, it's Cahilas or Cahilo. I think it's Calahos. Kalois. I don't know how to say that last name, but I am trying like heck. In October, Catherine pled guilty to misprision of a felony after using her position of authority within the city prosecutor's office to actively conceal the drug distribution activities of her brother. And that's why I said there was so much more to this case. If I could only say their last name. Ralph P. Punana, and anesthesiologist in Hawaii. In her plea agreement, Kathleen admitted she arranged to have herself assigned as the prosecutor overseeing the investigation of her brother, co-conspirator, and that she cultivated a close relationship with one co-conspirator. A defendant, Kathleen, was then prosecuted to reduce a childhood like that the individual would reveal Ralph Punana's role in the drug conspiracy. I always got your back. I love you and will protect you always. Read one private text message Kathleen sent to the defendant. She was prosecuting. Go team. Can't wait for this S-bomb to be over. Read another, to which the defendant replied, ditto. Then we're free. Finally, the Kalanis pleaded guilty to bank fraud. So this is, I think, Kathleen, to bank fraud. As a part of their pleas, the Kalanis admitted to that between, I'm not going to give the dates, they spent more than $591,000 delivered from stolen funds or loan proceedings obtained through fraud. Their bank fraud scheme included falsely claiming assets that belonged to others, including money belongings to children over whom Kathleen had been appointed guardianship, falsely inflating their monthly income and falsely denying declaratory information on their credit to legitimize their denial of proof credit. And Kalanis submitted a forged police report in loan applications that that purported to document Kathleen's false claims, identity theft, the acting of forging the police officer's signature on the report was itself identity theft, for which Kathleen pleaded guilty. Kathleen further admitted to using an alias, Allison Lee Wong, to facilitate the bank fraud. This alias also played a role in Gerard Punani's claim of fraud. As evidence at trial established, Kathleen used the Wong alias, notarized, and created a fraudulent trust in Gerard's name. And under the consumer name, Kathleen Alaha, Catherine ordered a notary seal for Allison Lee Wong from the American Association of Notary and had it mailed to the State of Hawaii Office of Environmental Quality Control, where Kathleen served as a director, as Judge C. Bright stated today. Kathleen perverted justice over and over and over again. Okay. The colonist co-conspirator Dirk Hayne and Bobby Nguyen are scheduled to be sentenced on December 1st, 2020 for their involvement in framing Gerard Punana. Kathleen's brother, Randolph Punana, is currently facing drug distribution and firearm charges and is scheduled for trial in April 2021. Catherine, age 50, and Lois, 60, conspired to commit offenses against the United States, and that gives all the things. And the maximal penalty is only 5 years, and again, a $250,000 fine. And there's a crap load of charges. I am not going to go through all of these. And again, one of them, the max is for 20 years. And they will probably get a slap on the wrist. So I hope you guys could follow along with that, because I know that was a long one and there was a lot of weird names. I am not good at weird last names. I'm not. And some even first ones. I'm good at everything else. But pronouncing other names from other, nationalities, I'm not so good at. Sorry. But she set up her uncle to take the fall for stealing money from him and her grandma. She was ready to have him thrown in prison for it. She was then set it up with her. I don't know who that person is that's related to her, because the Lois and her, Catherine, are related. Then they set it up where the brothers' real charges are thrown out. And then she also robbed her children, who she opened up a bunch of credit in their names, and a couple other people along the way. I couldn't even keep up with it. She was just using her authority to rob banks, rob family members, her own kids. These are our public officials, and they set their own family member up to go to jail. And you don't think they would do this to people that they don't know and that they really look down upon because they just run a junkyard? The Avery case is screaming at you. Hello, I'm fake. Hello, everybody. And there's a poor 16-year-old kid in there doing life. And you don't believe that the public officials do this kind of thing. This one case just told you they do. And they do it to their own family members, not just strangers. And they set Avery up twice, not once, twice. Come on, people. Oh my God. And I'm so sorry about the reading again. I'm losing my light and it's getting blurry. I wanted to get this done before it got dark. So there was our prosecutor and chief of police. Freaking prosecutor and chief of police. Oh, God. What a world we live in, huh, people? Okay, this one is in, I always call it Maryland. It's Maryland, but I say Maryland. I don't know. I always have. So sorry if I pronounce it wrong for you guys. I'm sure you probably were calling me out on my other video. And it's in Greenbelt. A correctional officer sentenced to 27 months in federal prison for prison corruption racketeering charges related to Maryland Correctional Institute, and it's Jessup. Jess up. That's the way it's spelled, so I think it's Jessup. Okay. Accepting bribe. Am I going to stutter over my words again? I'm sorry. Accepted bribes to smuggle contraband into prison, including drugs. Correction officer Janelle Griffin, 41, sentenced to 27 months in federal prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release for a federal racketeering charge related to her participation in a scheme to smuggle contraband into the Maryland Correctional Institution, JESP, Jessup, JESP. Okay. Including narcotics, unauthorized flash drives, tobacco, and cell phones. Inmate Corey Elston admitted he was the leader in the racketeering conspiracy, which he was an inmate. I'll put that on so I can see. Inmate Corey Elston admitted he was the leader in the racketeering conspiracy with 4 outside facilitators: Trishina Johnson, Jamie Lawson, his sister Ashley Alston, and his father Alden Alston, who obtained and packaged contraband, met with the correctional officer and employees to provide contraband and bribe payments, and managed the proceeds of illegal contraband sales for Alston. According to his plea agreement, Griffin and other MCIJ employees brought the contraband into the prison for Alston in exchange for bribe payments, and Alston conspired with another inmate Chevelle Mack, to sell the contraband to other inmates. Alston was overheard by law enforcement on a series of recorded calls arranging for contraband to be smuggled into MCIJ, and arranged payments for the contraband and for bribes. In addition to Joel Griffin and Corey Alston, 12 other defendants, 6 outside of the facility, 3 prison employees, and 3 prison inmates have pled guilty to their roles in the conspiracy. So again, another one of our correctional officers smuggling and getting paid for it, and doing all the wrong and breaking all the laws. And let me tell you, it's not just the correction officers. The ones on the streets do it too. There's plenty of videos, and I'm sure cases, hopefully they'll be in, I don't know if they'll be in where I'm looking at now, but I will find them after I'm done with this series. And I'm going to play a bunch of videos where officers do it as well. They'll take the money from a drug dealer and let them go because they got the big score in money. They'll sometimes, I did read one on here where they took the evidence and resold it for money. And how do you trust these people who break the law, who are supposed to enforce the law, but then want to put you in jail for the stuff that they do? And they're okay with doing. I was going to read one more, but I think, I don't know if my eyes will take it and I have to read it off the phone, or if I'll just save it for tomorrow. But it's going to be a good one because it's an indictment on a RICO case. So I'm already pushing 35 minutes, so I guess I'm going to let this one go, and I'm going to do it tomorrow. Over the weekend, I have something that I really want to get into on a story, but I want time to kind of watch a documentary so that I can put it together real well. I don't want to do it in parts. I want to kind of try to put most of it together. So I am working on a big story behind the scenes. That's why I'm sticking with this for right now. I hope I didn't read this too bad. I am going to rewatch it before I print it or put it out there, however you want to say it, because I want to make sure it's good. You can understand everything I said in it, because there was a lot of hard names in there, and I apologize for that. I am not good, like I said, with weird names, so I can only apologize. Again, I hope you guys at least opened your eyes. I hope you guys made it through it, first of all. You made it through my video. And second of all, I hope it woke some of you guys up that don't want to believe that they would go that far to set somebody up. Like they did in the Avery case. The Avery case is not a one-time deal. This is just the one that actually made it out there and made headlines and got exposure. This happens all the time. As you can see, where is the story in the news about this case right here? This could be a movie. This definitely could be just as big as the Avery case in a movie or a documentary. This lady not only, again, set somebody up like they did Avery. She was taking out her family. She was taking out the banks. She was saving her brother from a prison sentence with drugs and other things. I mean, how much did she corrupt and cover up and lie and cheat and steal? And these are the leaders of our government. Come on. And lawyers. The prosecutor and the chief of police. Come on, people, wake up. If you think these people are good and you're in good hands with this corrupt government, there is something very wrong with you. And it is time to wake up, shake that sleep out of your eyes, and start seeing the truth for what it is. Because here is your sign. Again, another video. Here's your sign. All right, guys, I'm going to go home to my little one. It is the weekend, and I've got to work Sunday, so I want to spend at least tomorrow with my daughter and tonight. And then Sunday, I talked my boss into letting her come up for half the day because they're having an outside, little get-together for the people here. And that way I don't have to miss her so much on Sunday, just for a couple hours. But tonight, I want to spend with her. So, guys, I love you. God bless. Keep watching. And even though I am not perfect, I am not going to edit it. I am not going to try to be perfect. And I am not going to redo it unless it's just understandable. So I hope you guys take me for what I am. I'm real and I'm giving it to you raw. And that's how it is. I don't need no beautiful studio. And I don't need to be perfect. And I don't need to edit and redo. I am a real person just like you, and I want you to be able to see me that way. And just know that we all have faults. We all have issues, and none of us are perfect. And there's too much out there trying to make people seem like they are perfect, and they want you to role model that. Well, that's fake. That's all fake, and nobody's perfect. And just like I love everybody I have in my life, flaws and alls. I hope you guys can learn to do the same, because everything out there, it makes people want to be so perfect, and nobody is perfect. The fake perfect bodies out there, and the fake personalities out there, and the fake this and the fake that, there's no such thing. So I want people on here who are going to respect the fact that none of us are perfect. And none of us are going to do anything perfect. We're just real people trying to get through life. And I have my pros and I have my cons, just like everybody else does. And that's what makes us special. And that's what makes us different, which makes us even more special. All right, guys, I love you. Take care. Have a great night, and God bless. More